hold the swearing to a minimum. There we go. Okay. Well, a couple of things here. We're going to talk about two main things today. One is giving you another update on the scorecard, and I'm going to sort of give you a process now. I am going to give you a process of working from annual sales goals and then incorporating the weekly scorecard. And that relates to annual, monthly, and weekly activities. Then I'm going to talk about open house, some open house updates as it relates specifically to pre and post event surveys. The way the open house system is set up is there's a series of emails that goes out to leads and then a series to prospects. The leads get 4 emails, the prospects get 2, and when someone RSVPs, what happens then is they automatically go into this, they get a pre-event survey. And what we find is about 30% of the people take the pre-event surveys. Well, Jeremy and NIH just did an open house, and what we figured out was he was not getting an email notification when someone took the survey, and then also there was nothing going into the action plan for an action request for the survey. Plus, we were trying to figure out how do we look at all the surveys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you right now how to do that, review the survey responses, and then I'm also going to talk lastly about if you get some people that come into the model home and you are going to use your open houses as, say, a carrot to get people to register or leave their contact information for you. It's a very good strategy to use to get contact information. Some people will tell you that, okay, that's fine, just send me an open house invitation. And right now in the system, if you put somebody in as a C or a D, they get the nurturing program. And so what we're going to do is create a workaround where you can put somebody in as a C prospect, but you're going to be able to turn off the nurturing program. So then they will just receive the open house invitations. So first and foremost, we're going to start with the email notifications. Right now when somebody, well, Yvonne was just talking about it, but when somebody goes on your website and they say they go into the design library, they download a white paper or fill out a contact form, you're getting an email notification that this person just did this. And what we discovered was when somebody is filling out the pre or post event survey, you were not getting the email notification. That has since been fixed. So every time somebody fills one out now, you will get a notification. And the rule of thumb is about 30%. So if 10 people RSVP, normally about 3 of those 10 will actually fill out the surveys. Okay, second is the automated action requests. So when you go into your system and you have the action plan, right now, anytime that there's a form or a survey filled out on the website, you get an action request. And if the lead or the prospect is already assigned to a salesperson other than yourselves, they will get the action request in their action plan. Well, again, when someone filled out a survey, it wasn't showing up there, and so now it will. So if the lead or prospect that filled out the survey has been assigned to a salesperson, that salesperson will get an action request to say, hey, so and so filled out the survey, and they'll be able to review the survey and prepare the information for them. So I'm just going to show you right now. I actually have NIH's open here, their company, and if I go into the action plan, you'll see that from their most recent open house, there was a number of actions on here for a phone reminder. Okay, so the people that RSVP'd to do the phone or text reminder, and but you see that there's no action requests on here for the pre-event survey, and so that was a problem. So this has been fixed, but what I want to show you right now is that if you do have an event coming up, you're having people RSVP, then they're taking the pre-event survey. I'm going to show you how to find those surveys and review them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the communication module right here, go down to reports, to survey, and then results. Okay, and so you'll get down here where it says Dashboard Report, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to click on Filter, and then you will pick a questionnaire. So in this case, what you're going to go down to is Open House, Pre-Event, More Information Survey. And you can see down here there's also an Open House Post-Event Survey. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the event template will be Open House, and then I can pick the actually instance of the Open House. So in this case, this was the 7/31/2012 Open House, so I'll click on that. And I'm just going to submit that. And as we can see here, there were 8 people that took this particular survey. So this is the test one Adriana did. We'll go to the next one here. So here's Willa and Anita, and so there's 7 additionals that took this. Now the survey asks a number of questions. So what information would you like to see? And I think, yeah, what would you like to see? You know, so do you want to see more floor plans? Do you want to see information on products, home site information, color palettes for the home? Do you want information on financing? There's another question is you want to buy, you know, or build a home, and do you need assistance selling your current home? So this is what's very cool, is this person is saying, yep, I'm coming to the open house. I want to see more information on floor plans and product information. I also would like to see information on financing. So would it be a good idea to maybe ask your preferred lender to come to these open houses? I would say yes, it would be a very good idea. Or to have information there, or to schedule a phone meeting at least with your preferred lender and your prospect here. This person's saying they want to build a home, and their home's already on the market listed. So this is as strong of a B prospect as you're going to get. Okay, so this person here wants to build. They want information on floor plans and products, and they want an opinion. They want a CMA on their home. So if you do that, you would certainly obviously set that up. Otherwise, if you have a realtor group you work with, you would call up one of your realtors to help them give them a CMA. Now, so all this information will be available to you to see. If you want to download it all into a PDF to review or print, you just click right here where it says All Results, and then click on PDF. And it'll take everything, put it into a PDF, and you've got every answer on here along with information and an email for the prospect. Any questions on this, on getting this information?
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And Jeremy, you said you did have, I forget who it was, somebody in here wanted do you have a plan named the Denver?
Yeah, some guy asked for I can't remember his name right now, but he's in here. No, keep going.
Well, yeah, this guy was interesting. So here's Brian Plowman.
Yeah.
He's got his home's already listed, and he wants to build. And can we customize with brands products you don't use? You know, so other information. I saw some of these. Yeah, this guy,
he's
Denver.
The one that asked about the Denver. Yeah.
Denver home plans. So he wants to build on a home on a lake. He found the lake lot already for sale by this area. I mean, this is just incredible information these people are giving you before they show up.
Mm-hmm.
This guy wanted the address again. Maybe have help selling his home in the future. This guy's already. Oh, this is the test. Oh, this is Darius is doing the test. Yep. So that's all the information there. It's great stuff. So the idea is you could print out that PDF, you know, put together the information that you need, even when you're calling those people ahead of time saying, hey, I see you filled out the survey and you're looking for this Denver house plan or whatever, or you want information on products, or maybe you want finance information. You could say, yeah, I'm going to have my preferred lender there. You'll be able to, you know, talk to them, him or her, about, you know, different financing products available to you, la-di-da-di-da. So great way to really use this pre-information that you're getting before the event to for sure close for the next step once they get to the event. Now I'm going to go back and I don't know, Jeremy, if I want to go back here and I'm going to look at the post event. Did you go in and mark in the system everyone that attended already?
No, I have not.
Okay, so then so you need to do that right away. So once I'm just going to go to, where is it? Here we go. So I go into maintain events here. I'm going to go into open house, and then I will click on, there's an enrollment report and an event completion. So prior to the event, you're going to just go into the enrollment report here, and you can print this screen. Right here, there's a little button to print this screen. And so Jeremy already did this. So when you have your event, you just have people, sort of check off their name as they come in, so you know who enrolled. But then there's also,
quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What about the people that showed that did not RSVP? Can you add them to the list and send them a post event?
Yep, I'll show you how to do that right now. So I'm going to go back to, let's see, or if I can just do this. Okay, so that was the enrollment report of the people that did enroll. Okay, so then you have event completion. This is the next step you got to do, Jeremy. Okay, so right now all these people are marked as not attended. So what you do is you take that list that were people who showed up, and you're going to go through here and you're going to click on who attended. Okay, just like that. And then once you've finished that, you're going to save the changes. For someone that showed up that did not RSVP, you just click on new participant, put their information in here, and complete it. And so this will, this is the name of the name of it. This was the date that it happened, in the city.
Would we add our past customers to that list, or no? Is that going to ask some questions, reiterate questions for building?
It's going to reiterate questions for building. The post-event survey is pretty much ask them well, I'll show you what it looks like. So you go in here, you check off everybody that did attend, save the changes, and once you've done that, they automatically then will get a thank you email. And I'll go into review content here and show you that. So here's the post-event thank you. Great seeing you at the open house. So glad you could make it. Did you get any new ideas for anything you're looking for? Could I ask a favor? Tell me what you thought of the home. 4 quick questions. And then so they click on this link. Favorite design or product features, least favorite. How does this rank for style and design you'd consider in your home on a 1 to 5? And then in additional information that you want, they can leave you a note here, and they submit it. They will not get this unless you check them off in the enrollment report. So yeah, if a customer just showed up, a past customer, Jeremy, or a client of yours, if you want, you can send it to them, but if otherwise, just don't even put them in there, so they won't get it. But if a lead or prospect showed up that did an RSVP, then you definitely want to put them in there.
Right. Right.
Okay. Any questions on that? Makes sense? Okay. Hearing none, then we can go back to same thing here. We can go back to reports, survey, and results. So Jeremy, after you send out the questionnaire, then if you want to see who filled out the post event, I would just go down here. Again, I'm going into communication, reports, survey, results. I click on filter again, and I'm just going to change this from pre-event to post-event feedback survey. This stays the same. I hit submit, and right now this should be 0. Yeah, there's no results because it hasn't gone out. So send that out right away. And Darius did say that he did add the email notification and action plan or action request.
I got his test email this morning. So
okay, good.
I did get email notification this morning.
Okay, good. Good. Any other questions on this? Very, very important. You guys follow this process, and so this, the system works as it should, and you take full advantage of it. Okay. Hearing none, I will keep moving on. I put the instructions that Adriana gave to me for finding those survey results on here. If you want to look at, I think it's a good idea prior to the event is just to print it off in a PDF, make sure you or every salesperson has a copy of it so they can prepare properly. So I will send out a copy of these slides that has the instructions on there, as well as you'll have the recording. Okay, and then the open house invitation only. What we are going to do is when you go into a prospect entry, you get someone that comes into the model home, they only want to receive open house invitations. If you get someone like that, then you're going to be able to have a checkbox like this when you put someone in to say, is this ready but not willing or able? So they're a C, and you'll be able to check off, and they will not receive the nurturing program, but they will still get open house invitations. All right, any other thoughts or questions on open house before I move to scorecard? Don't be so chatty. Okay.
Well, I'm glad to know that there is a way to remove them from the nurturing program.
Yeah, this is not done yet. This is coming up. Now, anyone can remove themselves from the nurturing program by clicking unsubscribe. But the other way, Yvonne, you would do this is if you say you have a A or B prospect, once you reclassify them under maintain customer and change them to ready and willing, so they become a B, or ready, willing, and able, so they become an A, they're automatically out of the nurturing program.
Right.
Yeah, as well. But this would be people that specifically just request open house invitations.
Right, right.
Okay, let's go to scorecards. Again, I'm going to go through the process that, how for you to get the most value from these weekly action plan scorecards. And the really 5 steps here to take. One, we're going to discuss a personal business plan, and I'm going to show you, I'll give you, I should say, a homework to do in the next week here between either you as a company owner / salesperson or to do with your salespeople. In that personal business plan, we're going to look at annual income goal, and then we're going to look at annual sales projections, and then break those down into monthly sales projections, and then tracking actuals. Then we'll look at how that weekly scorecard will relate to all this. Now, right now, I know Chris and Jeremy, you guys are doing weekly planned encounters. Chris, you still do these each week, correct?
I do,
Yeah, okay. So what you'll have now is that I think you have your people doing a manual activity report. What you're going to have now to work with will be the scorecard. But there's a couple of things that, if you haven't done it yet, I'm going to suggest you do before you introduce the scorecard to any of your to any salespeople. Okay, first is sales projections versus actual. This is just an Excel spreadsheet. It's part of an overall personal business plan for a salesperson. And this is where, if the salesperson sells in multiple neighborhoods, they would go in and they would project the number of units that they would sell on an annual basis, plug in an average sales price, they'd come up with a volume, and then they would be able to put in their commission rate to figure out what their gross commission income would be. So what I've done here is I have projected out, this would be like more for a company, because you would have different neighborhoods. You'd have off-site, maybe if you do remodeling, you could project that too. If it's simply a salesperson, they would actually just type their name in here. So anything in yellow that you see is where you want to manually input. Now let me show you what a completed one looks like. This is a real client that has 2 salespeople, actually 3 salespeople, and 2 primary neighborhoods, and then they also do off-site sales. So they had projected 6 units in Stone Mill Farms, 4 units in Dancing Waters, 3 off-site, and then there was another part of their sales team that projected two units. So we plugged in the average sales prices, came up with the volume. So the goal was about 8.3 million for this company over an annual basis. Now, because this is a company one, we didn't put in commission rate, but your individual salespeople, I would recommend that they put in their commission rate so they can figure out ultimately what their income goal is. Now, what we did is we took these annual projections and we break them down into monthly. So obviously January through July is complete, so we're not going to do projections for them, but what you should be doing is projections for August through December right now. And it would be very helpful to have these done, imperative I should say, to have these done before we start going through scorecards, because you've always got to have something to compare to. Did I meet my monthly sales goal? If I did, great. If I didn't, I go back to my scorecard and I start looking at, okay, where am I weak in my sales process? So in this case, we'll go through January through July. These were what was projected, and right down here is what actually happened. So actual monthly sales. So in January, if we look at the comparison here, there was 2 sales projected, one in Stone Mill Farms, one in Dancing Waters, and the actual was one in Dancing Waters. Okay, so we missed one in Stone Mill Farms. Okay, go back, recoup, why is that? So in other words, we're 50% of our sales goals right now, or 50% of our budget. We get into February, sold 2 in Stone Mill Farms, so we exceeded budget here, now we're even, and nothing in Dancing Waters. So as you can see, overall, I had projected 3 sales by the end of February, I'm at 3. And now as I move down, you can see here the actuals each month. This is the salesperson here that we've broke down. So either the customer name or if it was the name of a model home, we put that in here. And we get to the end of July, which is where we're at right now, and we've sold 3, 4, 7, 10 homes. Now if I go back up to my projections through the end of July, I'm at 3, 4, 6, 8. So right now I'm 2 ahead of projections, which is, hey, I'm happy about that, but I've got 2 sales projected in August. So I'm really, if I need to sell something in August to stay ahead of that. So this is the first thing I would do with your salespeople, is have them project out the rest of the year, if they haven't done so already, of what they think they're going to sell and when they're going to sell it. And so you're able to, each month when you do your plan and counter, or even if it's you personally, you're tracking your own, is to be able to say, okay, did I meet my projections? Did I not meet projections? If I did not meet them, why? And that's where the scorecard information comes into play. Questions or thoughts on this? And by the way, Marty, I do have one of these for remodeling too. Nothing? No questions on this? All right. We will keep moving. So we talked about monthly sales projections versus actual. Now, the other thing that I look at as far as this weekly plan and counter, what should I be looking at? I should have a planned next step for every A prospect, a planned action. So when I look at, if I'm in Ubix and I'm going through into my customers and I want to do a maintain customer, I should always be looking up, okay, who are my prospects, all my A customers, and I'm just going to take out this date and search for this. So now I'm in NIH. I'm actually looking at all, but I can also break it down by salesperson. So we can, we'll do the whole company here, but say Chris or, if you're looking at individuals, you can see what they've got planned. So I search for my A prospects. Okay, so there's 19 A prospects in here. So I want to make sure that every single one of these people, I've got a planned action. So if I go into customer one-on-one for any of these people, there should be a planned follow-up for the next step for every single one. I mean, if if they're ready, willing, and able, they either buy or die. All right, so I got to figure out what do I got to do to keep things moving forward. If they're not an A prospect, I need to reclassify them. So I get in my plan encounter. I'm going to look at scorecard results. I'm also going to look at the next step for all A prospects. What is the planned action for each and every one? And the way I work it is if I'm working with a salesperson, I simply ask them, you tell me what the next step is. And so if the next step makes perfect sense, great, congratulations, this is a good strategy. If there's maybe a better way to approach something, then I'm gonna share that with them and try to get agreement on that. Obviously, if it's me, if I'm managing myself, I just need to make sure that I've always got that next step planned for moving them from a prospect to a buyer. Okay, then each month when I go into my weekly plan encounter, usually at the first week of the month, like right now, I'll be recapping sales for July and looking at plan versus actual. Now what the scorecard tells me is where is the weak spot in my sales process. Weak spot in my sales process. And what I'm going to pull up right now is this particular spreadsheet here. These are all the different types of activities that you see on the left-hand side. So when you're doing your follow-up notes with your leads and prospects, these will be the activities that either you or your salespeople will be choosing. This is a potential score for completing an activity. So as an example here, filling out your traffic for the week is a possible score of 1, and your target is 1 because you're only going to put it in which week. So they get 1 point for putting their traffic in for weekly traffic units. So total possible score for the week is 1 point. When I get into some of the other things here, let's see, I do a prospect qualification. My score is 3 points. My target unit is to have at least 1 fully qualified new prospect per week, so my total possible score for the week is 3. So what it comes down to is if I look at all these different activities and I take all the weekly targets, right now it looks like a salesperson could hit at a maximum, if they did everything, 200 points. So from here, what I did is I said, okay, well, let's look at this as a letter grade. So if an A is it's somewhere between 90 to 100%. So that would mean if someone got an A for the week, they would score between 182 and 202. And B and C and D. If they're scoring below 120, they're going to get an F. Okay, so at that point, red flag. Why, somebody is either one of two things are happening. Either they're not doing the activities, or they're doing activities and they're not recording them in the system. So I got to figure out maybe is it something they don't understand how to record it, they were skipping steps, or why is that? Or if they're not doing the activities, I got to get them on the straight and narrow and make sure that they start doing them. For now, you that are like Star and Yvonne, you're selling yourselves. Obviously, you can't fire yourself, so you're not going to do this next step. But if I see a salesperson that is consistently scoring, if someone's getting a C or below, I really don't want average or below average. I can't handle that. So then what I would do is on my plan encounter is I would put together a 60-day goals for them. So a 60-day goal would be to score, let's say, a 162 or above. And then I would go through and I would help them with, say, their realtor outreach. I would help them with scheduling appointments at the model, or help them, with closing techniques for getting home site reservations or plan deposits or purchase agreements, that sort of thing. So the scorecard is simply a management tool. I want to make really, I don't want salespeople to feel like that I've got Big Brother watching over me, because first and foremost, they're responsible to themselves. But secondly, if you are managing salespeople like Jeremy, you and Chris are doing, the first thing we look at is if it's a bad score, why? So instead of coming down on them and saying you stink, you got a bad score, it's why is this happening? Do you not know how to do something? Is it poor task or time management? Why is it happening? You're going to get blips. So there's going to be bad weeks, there's going to be good weeks. We understand that. But if we see consistently poor weeks, then I think that's when you got to go to the 8-week strategy. You got to meet these goals. If you don't meet these goals, you tell me you don't want to be here. Pretty simple. Questions or thoughts on this? Not everyone at once.
I'm just glad I can't fire myself.
Yeah, you and Star, you can't fire yourself. But what it'll allow you to do is now you're going to be accountable to yourself.
Right.
First and foremost, and we're also going to allow the salesperson to be able to go in and look, in the middle of the week at real time at what their score is. So if they know, come Sunday, their score is being wrapped up for the week, and you're going to get the, you're going to get the email that they are able to go in and tighten up their score or to be able to do the activities. That's the whole thing, is sort of make it a little bit of a game. So they're doing the activities they need to do in order to make the next sale. So let's look at the summary here for using the scorecards. So the salesperson each week will choose the activity, and that activity will be based on the customer stage. So what's being changed right now in the system is when you do a follow-up note, you will choose the stage. So someone is going to be either a lead, a prospect, a buyer, could be an owner, could be sphere of influence, it could be realtor. I think that might be about it. So you will choose the customer stage for the follow-up activity. There'll be a corresponding score that goes with that. The status then will either be planned, completed, or you'll be ignoring an action request, maybe that's no longer viable. The started in the follow-up note is removed or being removed, so it's either planned, completed, or ignored. The weekly scorecards then will tie into the monthly and annual sales goals, and so your homework assignment is to make sure that everybody has sales projections from August through December of this year. We start tracking actuals beginning in September. And then each week we review the scorecard and we critique the sales process. How am I doing? Where are my improvement points? And we'll be doing the same thing on our end. We'll be looking at your scorecards, and ultimately we'll give you tips on things that you can incorporate and do in order to bring up scores. What I'm told right now is that on Monday I'm actually doing a final review for this, and next week Hallmark and NIH, you guys it'll be live for you all. You'll start receiving scores. Your salespeople will. So so we're going to do a couple weeks there of beta testing with these guys, make sure there's no bugs in the system, and then once we have that done, roughly the middle of August, everyone else will get this. And Marty, for remodeling, we're going to do new homes first, and then we'll be doing remodeling second. So we'll go back and we'll update this specifically for remodeling. So you may not, it might be maybe around the 1st of September before you have a scorecard. Okay, anything else on scorecard? Everyone know what they need to do? Man, we got a real chatty group this morning. Okay, so what I will do is I will send out a copy of this recording. I will send out a link in Game Day Coaching where you can download the sales projections versus actual, and then make sure that before we meet next Thursday for our sales training, is that everyone has completed projections, each salesperson, each company. So Chris and Gordon, on your end, you'd have each salesperson will make their own projections, and then you'll roll it up by neighborhood into an overall, if you haven't already done something like this. So we can be tracking each week. And I got a question here.
Rick, show me where we find that again in the Ubix program.
The scorecard?
Yeah.
Well, you're actually going to receive an email, Gordon, with a link, and the link will bring you to the scorecard. So if I go into Ubix right now, I'm going to go into processes here, scorecards, and then action plan. Okay, and then I'll be able to drill down, either look at my overall score for the week. This is actually from the month, but this will be changed to the week, or I can drill down by individual salesperson here. And so then this will be all the activities, and then we'll have actual score versus what your target score is, which I just went through. And then as we get more and more data, we'll show trends. I think this is over 90 days and then over 1 year. Are you trending up or trending down?
But that goal sheet that we were looking at with the yellow bars where we enter the information, that's not in the Ubix program?
That's not in there yet. No, we're in phase 2, this sales projection. We're going to put this right into Ubix. And so what the salesperson will do at that point will just automatically enter their...
It's not in there now, though.
No, you'll need to do this manually for right now.
Okay.
But in the future, this will be integrated. Yeah, so when someone...
You'll post.
What's that, Chris?
Are you just going to post this Excel spreadsheet on the...
Yeah, I'm going to put it in Game Day Coaching, give you a link so you can download it, and then give it to each salesperson. Yeah. This particular system here, what we'll do is, like Chris, you alluded to this last time, but we'll automate this when someone in the activity, when they complete an accepted purchase agreement. So we'll mark that as a sale. It will go in by the date that it was marked, and then it will be compared automatically. You'll see that, okay, my projections were, 1 sale in March, and I made 1 sale in March. So I made my goal. So that's going to be the second phase of this. We'll enter more automation. Same thing when we talked about, when you send an email from customer one-on-one, instead of having to make a follow-up note that you sent this email, as long as you send it from customer one-on-one, it will track it in your scorecard automatically. So we're going to get the basic system working, and then we'll do updates from there. So I'm going to send out a link to download this, and then next week we'll be live for Hallmark and NIH. Did you see how to do that for your scorecard, though, Gordon? So this processes, scorecards, and action plan?
Yeah.
And this is where you'll get it?
Let's see where it's at now. I was looking for the spreadsheet to fill out, but you're going to email that out.
Yep, I'll email links so you can download it. It'll be in Game Day Coaching.
So how does that, it's not going to tie in yet, then?
When you do your weekly plan encounter, you'll do it manually. So you'll look at, so the salesperson will project what they were going to sell that month. You will look at the actuals of what they actually did, and then if there's a discrepancy there, if they did not meet their budget, that's when you're going to go into the scorecard and you'll look at what their actual scores were. You'll be able to give them, they're going to get an A, B, C, or D, or F, each week, and so you'll look at, okay, what was your target? Where are you not meeting your targets? Why are you not meeting those targets? And then you'll find out, is it something they don't know how to do? Is it they're just lazy? Is it they're confused about something? What have you? And you can coach them up from there and making sure that they get them up to where they're scoring, a A or B. This is what I would always shoot for, is that each salesperson would be scoring 162 or above each week.
Okay, so that scoring has changed because I think last time it was like 150 points, wasn't it?
Yep. I went through and I redid it again. It's just because of the way the activity is setting up versus planned and completed. You're getting points, for planning some things right now, and so it's closer to about 200.
Okay.
So we'll give you your final training next week on this stuff, and then you guys will be live, Hallmark and NIH. Would you guys like this too, this spreadsheet that I've got in front of me?
I think it's good to know what that point system is and the breakdown of the description of what the individual
type of activity.
I think absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll send this out too then to everybody. I'll load this right
If
into.
they're not, if they're not completing the task, then you got a reference to say, okay, one of the things you can do, your initial consultation. Okay, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's got the description, so they clearly understood what the object to that item is.
Yep. These activities, like the name prospect, client, realtor, these will be coming out of these tasks because there'll be a status, and the status will be I'm working with a lead, a prospect, a buyer, an owner, a realtor, whatever. So they'll just choose the status, and then the corresponding activity will pop up to the status. So it's going to be very streamlined, very simplistic for the salesperson once the final version is completed. This will be a good reference for you guys as far as A, B, C, D, F. All right, so I'll send this out as well. Runa, is that? Did I see you just arrived?
Indeed, that is me.
We are just logging off here. Any final words of wisdom for anyone from Norway?
No, I guess I'm a little confused because, that's right, it started 9:30, okay. So, no, you met with Darius, and
Yep.
fine. Maybe you and I can meet for a few minutes after this meeting.
Sure.
If you're available?
Yeah, if you want to stay in this
Okay.
meeting, that would be fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be great.
All right, thanks everyone. I will send out the recording and the links and then a copy of the spreadsheet right away. Make sure you get all the sales projections done here for next week.
Hey, Rick,
Yeah,
what's your travel schedule?
I'm arriving in Utah on Tuesday, August 28th. You and Chris I think, and Runa's gonna be with me, so we'd like to stop by and meet with you or meet at a model home or wherever. But
How long are you going to be here, and what do you want to accomplish?
whatever you want to, I'd like to meet Chris because I haven't met him yet. I would love to see one of your models. And anything else it's really kind of open forum for anything that you want to discuss or go through or whatever. I'm going to do a little role playing actually with Brooks.
You're going to be for how many? 2?
I'm going to
Day and a
be
half?
I leave Salt Lake on Thursday, the first thing in the morning. So I'll be around for the 28th and 29th.
Okay. Well, you want to just give us what time frame you have open, and
Yeah.
so we can schedule that.
Yeah, I think Runa, I think we were going to try to meet with Hallmark and Nielsen on the 28th. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah.
So we'll plan on you for half of the day.
Yeah, I fly in first thing in the morning. I think I get there around 10 or 11. I'll have to look at my agenda.
Yeah.
So probably
So,
2-3 hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we'll go directly out to Nielsen Homes probably afterwards.
And then what are you going to do on Thursday?